sounds good, Charlie. What sort of car are we in?
1935 model Austin 10 with a Litchfield body.
How long have you had it, Charlie?
I've had the car for probably 20 years, but it's only been restored and on the road since 2004, when for the first Austin over Australia rally in Canberra.
All right, let's go for a little drive here, and we'll just go along the edge of the lake. But what's the longest run you've done in this car, Charlie?
The longest I've done, I went down the far south coast to Durras Lakes and back. For
What
a
sort
wedding.
of speed?
Probably 80k maximum going downhill, but probably seems to run along nicely about between 70 and 80k. And it's a thermosiphon, so it got a bit hot coming up the mountain in November, but they have to boil virtually to thermosiphon the water, which doesn't seem to be any problem with them. The car came from Western Australia. It was found up on the Coolgardie goldfields, and the fella, they tipped the body off and had the back wheels jacked up, and they were driving a pulley and the shaft to excavate minerals up from a gold mine. And the fella found it in Perth and went up and resurrected it and pulled it to pieces, and came to Canberra as supposed to be a father-son project, but then it father and son parted ways, and so I finished up with the car. Gradually over the years, but then about when I retired, I fully restored it.
Now you've got a lot of cars. Is this one of your favourites?
Well, it is, because it's the only small car I have. All my other cars are American cars. I've got a 35 Chev Roadster, a 37 Nash Ambassador, the 50 Studebaker Champion, and I've got under restoration a 1929 Master Buick convertible coupe.
It's a 1937 Y Series Ford. I got it from Berrydale years ago. It was fully rusted out. Only it's pretty rare, that's why I built it. If it was a prefect or something, I wouldn't have bothered. But, well, yeah, it's...
Most people would call this an Anglia or a prefect, wouldn't they?
They do, but it's not. It's a Y Series. Before they didn't name them prefects or Anglias until 39. So this is 37.
All right.
Of course, there wasn't too many cars did have names on them until...
That's a point.
Yeah, you go back through the history and have a look.
They were numbers or...
They were numbers of serial numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, I got a Ford V8 at home. All it is a 1936 Ford.
Yeah.
They never put a name to them. Well, these ones, they didn't put a name till 39.
Yeah, okay, I'd never realised that.
People don't go through the history, but when they do, that's how it works.
All right. All right, well, thank you for that. What's your name again?
Paul Cuneen.
Paul Cuneen, yeah. Okay, thanks, Paul.
It's a 1925 Austin 12 horsepower, fully imported from Britain. It's what the model's called a Hertford or Hartford, two-door dicky seat, doctor's coupe kind of thing, and it's a narrow track, which apparently is quite rare, but you know,
yeah,
they're all quite rare, aren't they?
Well, Billy was saying that with the narrow track tyres, the tax is less, apparently.
Oh, that might be why they imported it. It's unusual that it wasn't Australian bodied. You know, like it's fully British bodied car, rather than a Aussie built car. You know, Holden and all those people would often build. Yeah. You know, whoever, but They imported this one fully bodied, which, you know, big tax, lots of money, but you know, it's not a Rolls Royce or anything.
No, but what speed do you cruise at?
Oh, I've had it up to about 50 miles an hour.
Wow.
But, you know, that was just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
30 mile an hour, nicely.
Yeah.
Not up hills. My mum needed a car, so my mum and I bought it and drove her around in it for the rest of her life. And
Okay.
a car like that always puts a smile on someone's
Yeah.
face, doesn't it?
What's your most memorable experience using it?
Oh, look, you know, as I just said, driving my mum around in it, you know, driving Miss Daisy kind of thing. Not that she was Miss Daisy, but she was a Canberra girl, grew up in Canberra, and we just jumped in the vintage car and drive around all the old parts of Canberra, and she would reminisce.
Wow. All right. Well,
Cheers, mate.
continue to enjoy your motoring.
Will do.
I'm Roger Amos. I've owned this MGB for about 9 years. It was restored by a bloke called Dave Sutton, who lives out at Bungendore. It's quite a nice MG Roadster, but I've got a unique fiberglass hardtop, if you want to have a look at that. It has a lift-out sunroof that you can lift out on a sunny day. And unlike the standard factory hardtop, which has a concave back window, convex back window, and makes the car look very unique.
How long have you owned it, Roger?
9 years I've owned it.
Okay. Now, you've had older cars,
I'm restoring a couple of old Vauxhalls at the same time.
so why did you get the MG? Tell us.
Well, I retired and had a bit of extra cash, and I knew about this car when it came on the market. So I took it for a test drive and then purchased it.
Right, okay.
And I've had it for 9 years, and I could sell it for the same price I bought it for 9 years ago. So,
And is it more of a favourite than the Vauxhalls?
completely different cars,
Right.
you know. The Vauxhalls will have sort of family connection, because Dad had a Vauxhall. Whereas
Right.
the MG, I really would like an MGA, but because this one came along, I bought an MGB.
What's the nicest experience you've had with this car?
Probably driving to the Bay to Birdwood. We went with the MG Club, took 4 days to drive to Adelaide, went in the Bay to Birdwood, and then about 4 days to come back.
Wow. Okay.
But the MGB is a good car to own because you can keep up with modern traffic. Any parts you need you can buy. Most people can work on them because they're uncomplicated. And really the speed limit's 100 or 110. You don't need a car that can do 200 k's.
What's the biggest problem you've had with it?
The biggest problem I've had with this, I blew a head gasket. And the head was cracked, but the bloke at Queanbeyan, QIM, had a spare head sitting on his shelf. Sold it to me for $30.
Wow. Isn't that lovely?
So that's how easy parts are to get for an MGB.
Ryan, have you got your sunscreen? Yes, I